Hello everybody and welcome back, and in this tutorial we will continue with some of the other options that Nmap allows us. Now you might be asking, why are we covering all of these options for Nmap? Well, basically it is a really important tool, and knowing all of these options will make you at least 50% better in penetration testing, since scanning is a really important part of performing a penetration test. So let us right here just open up our terminal. Let me make it this big, and in the other terminal right here I will open up the commands once again, nano commands.txt, where I will write all of the Nmap commands that we cover in this particular tutorial. So let us just type here once again Nmap. And the first thing we want to check out is the -pn command. Now we can find it right here, or for example, let's say you can't find a specific command in these bunch of the commands, you can just type here nmap and then grep -pn. Just find here -pn, and it will show us. Not like that, I did not want that to happen. Let me just... Oh yes, on nmap --help grep pn. No, why doesn't that... Yeah, never mind. For some reason that worked yesterday but doesn't want to work now, so it doesn't really matter. Just find the command right here. Let me just find it. It should be -P and then n. Here it is. Treat all hosts as online. Skip host discovery. Now this is an important command. You might be asking why. Well, some of the hosts that you scan on the network can appear to be offline. So, for example, if you know a specific host must be running and is online, but let's say you scan it right here and it says that it is offline. Now this is my laptop, so it will say that it is online at the moment, but I've had some scans that basically said that my machine that I was scanning, which was right next to me and which was connected to the network and running, basically said that the host was down, and every time I specify the -pn option, it basically skips the host discovery and as it says, treats all hosts on the network as if they were online, which will perform the scan and it will give you the results without host discovery. So let's say, for example, I scan this IP address, which I don't have anything running on it, so it will say that the host is down, as you can see right here, 0 hosts up. This will be the same output for the machine that is running, but it is blocking the ping requests, or it is showing other machines that it is offline. So in that case you just specify the -pn option, and then you specify the IP address, and it will show as if it is online. Now in my case it won't show since I don't have anything there, so let me just scan my laptop once again. I just typed here nmap -pn and then 192.168.1.8, and it will skip the host discovery, and it will basically automatically say that my host is up and running, and it will scan for its open ports. Now let me just see, it has finished around 22%. You might notice that this scan is going a little bit slower, so we won't be waiting for that to finish, there is no point. Or we can just leave it right here, perhaps it finishes while I type it right here. So -pn and then the IP address, basically the IP address of any machine that you're scanning or any website that you're scanning. Of course, try not to scan the websites that you do not have permission on. You can always use the scanme.nmap.org, which we have permission to scan by Nmap. Or you can basically just use the metasploitable virtual machine that we installed or you can install basically any other virtual machine that you will use in order to scan and attack. Now, since I can't really run the Metasploitable, it gives me some error, I downloaded another virtual machine that I will show you how to install, and I will show you why we will use it. Basically, we will use it extensively in the website penetration testing part. I'm not really sure if Metasploitable has OWASP in it pre-installed. I doubt, so you can check out if it has that, then you don't need to install this virtual machine as well. But if it doesn't, you should install this virtual machine, as it is vulnerable and it is used for web penetration testing. So we will cover some of the attacks on the websites using this machine. But let us see right here. As you can see, the scan has finished and it treated our host it was up, and it discovered an open port. It also gave us back the MAC address. So it is a useful command if you know that the host is running and it is showing that it is offline. You just type your -pn and you will have your host scanned. Now, the next option I want to show you, which I didn't show you before, if we type here nmap, would be the -st command. If we go up here and find the -st, you can see that it is basically a full TCP scan. Let me just find it. Right here we have the SU, SN, SS, here it is. We can see a bunch of these options. We will only cover first these three basically, but for now on let us just cover the ST, which if you look right here, it is basically a connection. Now, by connection it means that it performs the full three-way handshake in order to scan the target. Now, as we talked before, the TCP connection requires three-way handshake, so let me just open up a paint so I can show you better. For example, let's say you have a PC right here, and you have another PC right here. So basically just laptops. Since I'm not really sure how to draw PCs, let us just... This is PCA, and this is PCB. Let's say the PCB is your target, and you scan from the computer A. Now, in order to, when you use the -st option, so -st option, it basically performs a three-way handshake scan with the TCP, which is basically us sending a bit set called SYN, then the other machine is sending us the bit set called SYN-ACK, which is basically same as SYN. Now, in order for you to learn more about this and to know what I'm talking about right here, you should read more about the TCP and UDP scans and TCP and UDP connections. I talked briefly about it in the previous tutorials, but you might need to know a little bit more in order to understand how these scans work. So, but it is not that complicated, and then the scan finishes with only ACK. I don't have where to write it, but that is basically the three-way handshake. So it is SYN, SYN-ACK, and then once again ACK. Why is it called three-way handshake? Because it is consisted from three parts, as you can see right here. SYN, SYN-ACK, and then once again ACK. Just ACK. So the -st option in nmap performs all of these three, and therefore it can be detected on the target machine as you perform the full connection on the system, but it is also more accurate option for scanning, since if you were to complete only the SYN, it won't be able to gather as much information and as accurate information as you would be able to gather with the full TCP three-way handshake. For if you want your target to not be able to detect you, you shouldn't be using the -st, since it is very detectable, as I said, since you use the full TCP handshake. So let me just type here nmap -st, And then we can just type here the 192.168.1.8. And it will basically give us the same output as this option right here, but here you specified it to use the full three-way handshake. And this is the option that will give you the most accurate and precise results. So let me just see, here it is. It finished with the same result as the previous scan, so we have one TCP open port. So let me just write it right here, nmap -st 192.168.1.8. So we covered the full TCP connection scan. Now the next thing you want to basically cover is the -ss scan. So let me just open up here. -ss is only the first part of the -st. Let me just explain that a little bit better. As you can see, the -st is a full connect, and the -ss is the TCP only SYN bit set. So basically, in order for us to scan, we will only be sending this first part of the three-way handshake. That's why it is specified as -ss. The capital S stands for SYN, right here. Now, the thing about SYN scanning is it isn't detectable on the target host, so this is you can use that option in order to prevent the target from detecting your scan, because it won't really complete the handshake, but it is less accurate and it can also be detected by your IPS. Now we will talk in the next tutorial how to avoid the IPS detection and how to avoid some of the defenses that could be implemented into your router, for example, in order to block or send false information onto your nmap scan. So let us perform the SS scan. Here we will basically type here nmap -ss and then the IP address of our laptop, or basically any machine or website that you are scanning. This is a little bit taking a little longer than the -st scan, probably because it takes a lot longer time in order for it to gather the same information that it gathered while using the full TCP handshake scan. So we will wait for this to finish in order to see what the results are and if they are the same as the -st option. So while this is running, I will just type here -ss 192.168.1.8. Now, while this is 45%, okay, while this is doing, let us recap. So -pn option, as we said, is used when the hosts appear down. The -st option is a three-way handshake TCP connection to the host, and it is detectable and more accurate. And -ss scan performs the only first part of the three-way handshake, which is the SYN part. It is not detectable on the host, it is less accurate, and it can be detected by your IPS. So as we can see, the scan has finished and it gave us the same output as the -st scan, which is good. We have one open port and we have the service running on it. So let us just type here once again nmap. There is one more option I want to show you before we finish this tutorial, which is the -su option. If we go right here, you can see the -su option is basically only UDP scan. All of these three options, well, basically all of these five right here, perform the TCP scan, or basically a part of TCP scan, as well as some of these right here. But if you specify the -su option, it will only perform UDP scan. Now, as we talked before, UDP is connectionless and we won't have any confirmation that the packets arrived at our target. It is not consisted of three-way handshake, or basically it is not consisted of any handshake. We simply, with UDP, just send packets to the other hosts and hope that they get there intact and whole. So let us just right here use the UDP scan. So we specify with the -su option, U stands for UDP, and we type here our IP address. Let us see how long this will take. As we can see, it won't finish that fast. This is also a slower scan. So while that is doing, let me just write it right here so we can see which ones we covered. And my advice would be to use -st when it doesn't really matter if hosts detects you, and if you are performing a penetration test, for example, where the target shouldn't be able to detect you, you can use the -ss scan. Or you can use some of the scans that some of the options for scans that I will show you in the next tutorial in order to make your scan even less detectable. So let me just see where this is at. It is at 62%. So I will cut the tutorial right here, and I will show you the output of this command in the next one, as well as some of the other options that we will cover. So I hope you enjoyed this lecture, and I hope I see you in the next one. Bye.